The O'Reilly Factor's on tonight.
I will continue to address and expose the criminal corruption of Hillary Clinton.
But time is growing short for Donald Trump. He's gaining in the popular vote, but the states remain problematic. We'll have a full report tonight.
I pledge to you that I will do everything I can to heal the divides.
Hillary Clinton still not campaigning full-time. Is she trying to run out the clock? Talking points. We'll address it.
The momentum is on our side. The latest polls have Donald Trump leading nationwide.
Also ahead tonight, Governor Mike Pence will be here. He's in Pennsylvania. Is it possible that state will go Republican? Caution. You are about to enter the no-spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The truth about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The truth. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In the wake of the latest email chaos, Donald Trump is gaining in the national polling. Latest ABC News tracking poll has Trump up by 1. Rasmussen has the race tied. Investors Business Daily has Hillary Clinton up by 1. The Real Clear Politics average, Clinton by 2.2%, which is a virtual tie. But it all comes down to electoral votes, and we'll analyze those in just a few moments. No matter who wins the presidency, Americans will be uneasy. Let's take Hillary Clinton first. Mrs. Clinton has devoted herself to public service for 3 decades, but has not really achieved anything outstanding. Her major accomplishment was helping the state and city of New York after the 9/11 attack. As senator here, she did a very good job getting resources into a devastated area. As Secretary of State, Mrs. Clinton actively participated in President Obama's failed attempt to place the USA in a subordinate position overseas. As we all know, Mr. Obama did not want to lead. Rather, he hesitated in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, in confronting Russia. That policy is turning out to be disastrous, and Hillary Clinton was his Secretary of State for much of the retreat. That is not a partisan analysis. That is a fact. All you have to do is look at what's happening in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Europe, South China Sea, Iran, and the Persian Gulf, not to mention North Korea. Foreign policy under Barack Obama has been a chaotic failure. Our enemies do not fear us. If Hillary Clinton is elected president, there's really no reason for optimism. She supported the failure of Obamacare. She has veered sharply left in her social beliefs. Now, she doesn't even oppose partial birth abortion on the day a baby would be born. As for the economy, Mrs. Clinton is a tax and spend liberal. And that policy has not stimulated growth for 8 long years in this country. Now, on the other side, there's Donald Trump. Completely untested in geopolitics, Mr. Trump has made big promises that he'll return prosperity to the USA and regain a leadership role for America in the world. That will not be easy, and Mr. Trump has no track record, no achievements to bolster his rhetoric. Instead, he has a checkered business record, although to be fair, he has overcome big setbacks to build a very powerful business brand. Mr. Trump is running as an outsider who promises to clean up Washington, and that message alone has a tremendous appeal. As everyone knows, his personal life as an entertainer has been controversial. He is a blunt speaker who sometimes does not think before he makes public statements, and that has hurt him with minority Americans and those who fear confrontation. If Mr. Trump is elected president, he will take office with the least amount of political experience of any commander-in-chief in history. So voters, you guys, are faced with more negatives than positives in this election. Hillary Clinton is portrayed as a dishonest person who has had controversy after controversy. Donald Trump is portrayed as an immature rogue who has had controversy after controversy. That's the choice America faces 1 week from today. In the end, it should come down to your own belief system and which candidate better reflects that. It's personal. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, who's winning right now? Joining us from Boston, Chris Anderson, Democratic pollster who works for Fox News. And from Austin, Texas, Dr. Darren Shaw, a Republican pollster who also works for Fox News. The next FNC poll will be released Friday evening. Dr. Shaw, I'll begin with you. Are you seeing a shift in the polling because of the email fracas this week?
Well, Bill, it's not clear that it's entirely due to the email fracas. I think what you've seen in the national polls, the polls that we pay a lot of attention to, sort of high-quality major media polls, is a change from about a 7-point Clinton lead down to a 3 or 4-point Clinton lead. So, yeah, there has been movement in the polls. The question, though, is how much of this sort of email fracas is actually driving it, or whether it's kind of a natural movement as Republicans come home and as what looks to be happening right now is that Gary Johnson's support, to a lesser extent time, but Gary Johnson's support is beginning to crater a little bit also.
Yeah, I've noticed that. But when you see an ABC News poll, Mr. Anderson, that at one time has Hillary Clinton up by double digits, and then in a short time later is Donald Trump up by 1, how do you process that?
I want to see more polls, and this is a little bit of an odd comment here, but I have found that Halloween and Halloween weekend are not trustworthy times to be in the field. I've seen some really strange samples, so I want to see a little more polling. To Darren's point, I think the race naturally is tightening with some Republicans coming home, consolidating there. But we're still left with this 5% or so undecided, and the underlying structure of that has not changed in that.
No, but here's what
these undecided voters.
Here's what has changed, in my opinion: voter suppression, not showing up. All right, I think that there are millions of Americans who've had it with both of these people, Doctor. And if voters, particularly in the minority precincts, don't show up, that's got to help Donald Trump.
Oh, man, I think you're channeling the Clinton campaign right now. I think this is their fear. What we've seen in the data, and you're hearing the same thing coming from the Clinton camp now, sort of through back channels, they're very concerned about African-American turnout. Yeah. Which has been very stable, over the last, not just because of Obama, but the last 3 or 4 cycles. They've done a wonderful job of mobilizing African-American voters. That vote right now is something they're very concerned about. The enthusiasm levels are not what they've been at. Conversely, the upside for the Clinton people is that these college-educated voters who they used to lose, Democrats have never really had much of an inroad with college-educated white voters. They're coming out, and my understanding is a lot of the reports from the early voting analyses indicate that those voters are maintaining their preference for Clinton, and they're turning out in high numbers. So there's a little bit of an unusual election.
I would be surprised, Mr. Anderson, if millennials turned out big this time around. But I've been wrong before, but I just would be real shocked if they come out big.
Well, I've always advised candidates against counting on young voters anytime. They're just undependable, so I think they are a bonus if they come out. I do think that structurally it's pretty clear that the Clinton campaign has a major election day advantage and early voting advantage. Just we know they have vastly more field offices, vastly more people going door to door. And if the polling really does narrow to a point where it looks like a dead heat, I think in a lot of these battleground states you probably give the Clinton camp a point on their
But remember
field
that
operation.
the enthusiasm gap favors Trump. And all the polls say that Trump's people are much more jazzed than Clinton's people are. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next on the rundown, the electoral vote scenario. What does Trump have to do to defeat Hillary Clinton? I've done some math here. And later, Governor Mike Pence enters a no-spin zone. He's campaigning in Pennsylvania, state Trump desperately needs. Those reports after these messages. Tonight, the Electoral College, for those of you who don't know much about it, it's a system whereby each state gets votes based upon population. If there were just a popular vote, you guys just voting for the president, the large cities would have an unfair advantage. For example, a candidate could put together a package of entitlements for New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Miami, and win, thereby leaving out the people who live in less populated areas. Hello, Montana. There are 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency, and right now Hillary Clinton's in the lead. Was here in New York City, Anand Mishkin, the head of the Fox News decision desk. So I want you to bear with me here, because sure. I've done my own analysis, and I have to admit, Anand's a lot smarter than I am. So and I've told him in the break, tell me where I'm crazy, but let's just go down the list first of all. All right, leaning Democratic states.
Yes.
You have Colorado and North Carolina in the lean.
Yes.
The latest polling in North Carolina has Trump ahead. All right?
There was one poll, yes.
Yes, but that's the latest poll.
Yeah.
Colorado, Trump he's campaigning very hard in that state, which tells me the internal Republican polling says he's got a shot there. Am I wrong?
The Trump campaign doesn't have that big a polling operation, but there are clearly some signs that Colorado could go for Trump.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close,
Okay,
absolutely.
Right. All right, so you were saying your own?
My own sense is that his opportunities in terms of stealing states that currently we have in the Clinton column.
Okay, but I don't want to get general.
Okay.
All right, so Colorado, if they dump out of Gary Johnson, the pot guy, which all over the country that's happening,
yes,
that helps Trump.
Most likely,
all right,
yes.
So that's why Trump's there. So I'm going to say Colorado and North Carolina are the leaning Democratic states that you have are possible for Trump. And maybe he can pick off Maine, one electoral vote there.
Absolutely.
Now we go over to leaning Republican states, all right?
Yeah.
Alaska, Georgia, Indiana, Missouri, Nebraska, Texas. I'm giving all of those to Trump.
I think that's a good, good bet. Yes.
All right, so that's 79 votes. All right, so I've just given Trump, I'm giving him North Carolina. I think Trump's going to win North Carolina. I've just given him 189 electoral votes. Colorado, I'm not so sure about. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
All right, so he's got 189.
Okay.
Then we go to toss-up states.
Yes.
He needs 270.
Yeah.
All right, the toss-up states, first one is Arizona. I say Trump wins because McCain's going to win big there.
I think Arizona, of all those states, we actually may have a leading Republican. I think that's very possible.
Okay, so I say he takes Arizona. Florida, it's impossible to call. It's going to be like the Bush-Gore thing down there.
It's very possible.
8 votes. 8 guys living in the Everglades, all right? Dodging boa constrictors are going to make the call here. But that's a 29er down there.
Florida is
Trump
essential.
he could win that.
He absolutely can win Florida.
Iowa, I'm saying he's going to win Iowa. That's 6, all right? The Trump will win because of the demographic is all white, all right?
It's another good bet.
Okay. Maine, the one vote way up in the northern reaches, again, all white. He's been up there, Trump. Hillary doesn't even know where it is. Possible to get that. Nevada, the latest polls show Trump is ahead, and so is the senatorial Republican there. Correct?
That's another toss-up state that he could very easily win, yes.
All right, but he's gaining in Nevada as Johnson is losing. See, wherever Johnson losing votes, Trump gains. And Johnson's losing in Colorado and Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay, so far you're with me. You haven't made fun of me once. I got 2 more. I got 2 more, all right? I got Utah.
Okay.
Now, here we got this guy running against him. It's impossible to know. The Mormons don't like Trump. They don't like him. They don't like his personal life. They don't like anything about him.
Yeah.
So Trump could lose Utah with the other guy winning, not Hillary Clinton.
But in a sense, it doesn't matter. Because if Trump doesn't get to 270 but would have gotten to 270 with Utah, the race goes to the House of Representatives.
Right.
And there the Republicans will
because
pick
she
the
would be
president.
below 272.
Precisely.
All right. Ohio is the last one. 18 electoral votes. Trump is running slightly ahead in Ohio. Portman, the senator, running
Way
big ahead.
Yeah.
Kasich voted for John McCain. He's out of it. If Cleveland doesn't show up, and I think Cleveland may win the World Series tonight, if the minorities don't show up there, Trump wins.
Trump could very easily win Ohio, Iowa, and Florida. Absolutely. Looking at the polling today.
On the electoral vote, you and I agree that he's got a good shot. Not a good shot. He's got a fair shot.
He's got a fair shot, but I don't think even when you get to your arithmetic, he gets to 270.
I have it as 270 if he takes all the states that we mentioned.
I mean, the one state that I think needs to be in the Trump calculus is Pennsylvania.
He's not going to win Pennsylvania, I don't think. We're going to talk to Pence. He's in Pennsylvania tonight, but
what I found interesting about the way he's spending his time.
He's all over Pennsylvania.
He's Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, which I think is very shrewd from his perspective.
I'd be stunned if Trump wins Pennsylvania. He's president. He's president.
I think the race is going to boil down to Pennsylvania. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks very much. Directly ahead, lots of whining about Hillary Clinton's gender again. We'll take a hard look at it. But later, as mentioned, Governor Mike Pence enters a no-spin zone. He's in Pennsylvania, must-win state, as Arnon just said, for his ticket. Up ahead. Gender in politics. You may remember that in 2006, I wrote a book called Culture Warrior that spelled out the intense fight between traditional Americans and those who want to revamp our entire system. One of the main characters in the book was a man named George Lakoff, who teaches at the University of California, Berkeley. His former wife, Robin Lakoff, also teaches there, and said this after Hillary Clinton's email story broke on Friday, quote, "I am mad because I am scared. And if you are a woman, you should be too. Emailgate is a bitch hunt. But the target is not Hillary Clinton, it's us. The only reason the whole email flap has legs is because the candidate is female," unquote. Sorry about the B word, but I had to do it. With us now here in New York City to react, Lisa Booth, Juan Williams. And you say, Juan?
I just can't. I was a little taken aback when I read it because I just don't think that's right. I mean, she says it's an attack on us, and here she's talking about a universe of women.
Yes.
And I just, to me, there's a legitimate issue about the emails and about national security and Mrs. Clinton's decision to use the private server. I think it's overblown, but I think it's a legitimate issue and not a gender-specific issue.
And why do you think a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, would inject this insane thesis? So if Donald Trump had violated national security, we would have ignored it because only women, at least, are going to be subject to this kind of national security scrutiny.
Well, and this woman's a teacher as well, which
Yes.
is even more troubling.
Here's worse. You have to pay to take her class.
Which blows my mind because
I mean, students have to actually pay.
Well, I'm surprised that Time Magazine even ran this column.
Why?
Because
Time
it's
Magazine?
asinine. Because
Why?
the column doesn't make any sense to Juan's point, which was actually very reasonable. So I'm surprised, but no, but
this.
I'm just
All right, go ahead.
No, because what kind of message is it sending her students that somehow, as a woman, you can do whatever you want and then use your gender as a shield to insulate yourself from.
But let's be fair. Hillary Clinton's not using it as a shield. This nut is.
Well, not in this specific instance. We haven't heard her, but you can go back and look at the Democratic debate, even with Bernie Sanders, which she's trying to use her gender as a shield and a sword. She's trying to use her gender to sway women voters, to say, look, I'm the first female president. Here's my gender card all over the place.
All that much.
Oh, she has. But then you go back at the debate, and if Bernie Sanders tried holding her accountable on guns during the first debate. And she tried saying that he said that she was shouting, and she tried to say that was sexist. She literally had made that claim. There was also at the Flint debate a conversation about the auto bailout, and her surrogates again tried to make claims of sexism. So when she gets hit hard on the issues, she tries to protect herself. This happened.
I don't remember
Go back
that
and look,
at all. I'm glad
you.
to look, but I will say this. When I'm talking to women politicians in D.C. and around the country, I hear a lot of them say that when they speak aggressively, they are described as shrill. When they make a tough statement, when they take a stand, they're not called bold and fresh. They're said to be uncompromising, hard-ass women and bossy. Bossy woman.
I have one very simple question. They're described as shrill. Have you ever read the descriptions of me? Ever?
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Okay.
I know you.
They ran out of adjectives.
Right. But let me
there
just
are
say,
no more words to attack me with.
Right.
They've used them all. Am I a woman?
No. But no.
I'm a man.
Right.
So if you're in politics,
yes.
Okay,
but let me just say, you don't think women have a harder road than men in politics?
Gosh.
I think there's no question.
Look, I am a woman. I'm a woman. We're sitting at the same table.
Yes, thank God.
But this is what's absolutely absurd. How can she possibly? She's running to be commander-in-chief.
Oh, you're talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, sorry, Hillary Clinton.
Right.
She's running to be commander. Do you honestly think Putin or anyone else is going to be sensitive to her feelings? But that's exactly what she's trying to. No, because
sensitive to her feelings.
Hillary Clinton is running to be commander-in-chief. And the second someone says something she doesn't like, she's offended because she's a woman.
Lisa, who has? I haven't seen it. He hasn't seen it. And let me just say, who has more qualifications, more experience in terms of foreign policy? Again, and who's going to be the first?
Did you hear the talking points memo?
I did.
Experience. If it's not good experience,
I don't see. That's where. That's where the shrill, Mr. O'Reilly, and I disagree.
Don't care if she's shrill. I just want.
So rude, Ron.
I know.
I want Putin to be contained. I want Iran not to have a nuke. Be as shrill as you want if that happens.
Yeah.
Juan, Lisa, thank you.
Thank you.
Plenty more as the factor moves along this evening. Gutfeld McGurk have been asked very politely to come up with 2 campaign things that caught their attention this week. We hope it's possible the boys can do that. Also ahead, we know Governor Mike Pence has plenty to tell us. He's trying to convince Pennsylvanians to vote for his ticket. We hope you stay tuned for those reports.
Ask your doctor if Chantix is right for you.
His illegal segment tonight, Donald Trump continues to say he does not believe all the polling places will be legitimate.
So go to your place and vote, and go pick some other place and go sit there with your friends and make sure it's on the up and up. Because you know what? That's a big, big problem in this country, and nobody wants to talk about it.
In response to that, 4 state Democratic parties are actually suing Trump's campaign, alleging voter intimidation. Here now to explain further, Kimberly Guilfoyle and Lee Wheel. Voter intimidation?
That's right.
How?
Okay, Hillary's campaign
yes,
is behind 4 lawsuits in 4 states in Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, and Ohio. And she's claiming the Trump campaign is intimidating, is going to be intimidating voters that come in. So after these voters vote, they're going to be hanging around the polling places, which is illegal to be, hanging around if you're not one of the representatives by a campaign, and going to be trying to intimidate certain classes of people.
After the vote.
After they vote.
So what good would it do?
Well, no, as they're coming in, as other voters are coming in.
You said after the vote.
No, after the people actually vote. After the voters vote, then they come out, and other people
not
coming
understanding
in.
it. I'll give you a shot at it. I'm not understanding.
Okay, so they're trying to sue, like she said, in the 4 states. That is correct. And the point is they want to speak to the voters after they come out to ensure the integrity. So there isn't any intention.
But what good does it do? They've already voted.
Well, the point is, what is the point of the lawsuit? If they're not going to try and intimidate someone in selecting and their decision for president.
But how can you intimidate someone after they've already voted?
Well, what I mean this is what the judge is going to have to answer and decide whether or not they're going to honor this temporary injunction to prevent these people from going to these states.
The 4 parties in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and where was the other one?
Ohio. Right.
They're going to have to decide what?
Okay.
When is this going to amount to intimidation of voters?
What physically do they decide?
They decide whether or not. So, okay, I go in to vote, right?
Yeah.
So I voted. Then I come out. I see other people that are going to start. They're going into the polling areas.
Yes.
They're going to vote. I'm coming out. I'm just standing there. I'm lurking around.
Watching.
Standing there watching.
So the judge has to decide how much time you can spend?
Exactly.
Like you have to get out of there in 45 seconds?
There is no specific definition of intimidation, and this was designed years ago to prevent voter intimidation of minority voters.
Okay.
So I think this is going to fail. They're going to have to rule on it.
But I'm not sure how a judge can say, okay, you have a minute, 20 seconds to get out of there.
In Arizona, it is a misdemeanor to stay within 75 feet of a polling place after you have voted.
Okay, but so that means you have to get 75 feet away.
You got to get out of there.
But that's already a law. So
exactly.
what do they want now?
So you're going to then put an injunction to prevent a potential future crime?
They already have a law there.
Ridiculous, right? So
what does he want the judge to do?
This is going to be
They want to join other people. Let me give you an example. In the lawsuit, in the Nevada's lawsuit, they allege that a Trump supporter in early voting, this has already happened, they say, harassed and intimidated multiple voters outside of, this is out in Albertson's early voting location, the store Albertson's, yelling at them belligerently.
Was the guy arrested?
They said to call the police, and the person had already left. So they're saying these incidents are already happening.
Listen, that's not going to be sufficient evidence or persuasive to any of the courts in any of these states to issue an injunction preventing someone from being outside.
This is just a total publicity stunt. That's what
it's basically it's the little sister, cousin, whoever relative of voter fraud. Now is voter intimidation.
Now it's voter intimidation.
Trump was saying over here, the Democrats are saying here, and those are states they care about. They're going to be close, so they want to put it out there like, oh, these are bad guys that want to intimidate.
So if anything, if say Hillary Clinton loses, then I could say it was voter fraud.
Voter intimidation.
Because Ziggy stayed out there 2 minutes instead of whatever.
Right.
Okay. All right. More craziness.
See where that's going,
ladies?
Nowhere.
I finally have it. It wasn't your fault. It was mine. Because, I'm a simple man. And I have trouble grasping concepts. But now I'm happy because I understand. Thank you very much. We come right back. Governor Mike Pence enters a no-spin zone. And Gutfeld McGurk on the campaign. 2 things caught their eyes this week. moments away.
O'Reilly Factor, the #1 cable news show for 16 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Impact segment tonight. Let's bring in Governor Mike Pence, who's running with Donald Trump on the Republican ticket. As everybody knows, he joins us from Pennsylvania. So, Governor, you guys caught a break with this Hillary Clinton email stuff. Do you think it's enough to hand you the election a week from tonight?
Well, you know, long before that announcement last Friday, Bill, I mean, frankly, polls around the country were showing tremendous momentum in this campaign. And frankly, I saw it as I was traveling across the country campaigning for Donald Trump and with Donald Trump. The crowds, the enthusiasm. This is really a movement of the American people that want to make America great again.
The so-called October surprise. I mean, nobody expected FBI Director Comey to come out Friday and say, hey, we have to reopen this because Uma Abedin's computer may contain national security stuff that shouldn't be on there. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to get into perspective here, whether that's enough to put you guys over the top. In your opinion, is it?
Well, I think that's in the hands of the American people, but the simple fact is that millions of Americans, Bill, were very troubled this summer when the FBI concluded that Hillary Clinton had been, in their words, extremely careless with classified information on a private server when she was Secretary of State, and yet they didn't recommend to continue the investigation or charges. We think it was right, and we commend the Director of the FBI for keeping his word to the Congress and the American people. Okay. They found new, pertinent information. They're initiating an investigation. But what we already knew about Hillary Clinton's years as Secretary of State, where she had a private foundation that took foreign contributions and has come out in this avalanche of emails, I truly do believe convinces millions of Americans that Hillary Clinton should never be elected President of the United States. At the end of the day, I want to tell you, there was tremendous momentum in this campaign, even before this latest announcement, and we're seeing it across Pennsylvania and everywhere we go.
Well, you're down by 11 in Pennsylvania, according to the Franklin Marshall poll, but we'll get to that in a moment. But I still want to stay on Hillary Clinton here. Do you think that she is a corrupt person?
Well, I don't think there's any question that over the last 30 years, the Clintons' careers have been characterized by
Hillary Clinton,
politics of personal enrichment.
Is she corrupt?
I think there's been outright corruption represented throughout their careers, Bill. Good heavens, you had Bob Woodward, famously of...
You're saying yes, you think she's a corrupt person?
Well, Bob Woodward of Woodward and Bernstein said on this network about a week ago that having a private foundation taking foreign contributions from foreign governments while she was Secretary of State, he said that's not unseemly. He said, quote, it's corrupt.
But that's Bob Woodward saying it's corrupt. I want to know what Mike Pence says. Is Hillary Clinton corrupt?
I think her actions as Secretary of State, the pay-to-play politics, where you saw Hillary Clinton and aides to Hillary Clinton actually directing contracts for the reconstruction of Haiti to friends of the Clintons who were contributors to their campaigns and their private foundation. That's the kind of pay-to-play corruption the American people are tired of in Washington, D.C. I think it's going to come to an end the day that Donald Trump becomes president.
I think Americans want to know if you think she's corrupt, and you've said now that you do. Is Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, corrupt? She does not want to investigate the Clinton Foundation. You just pointed to it. She does not want, according to reportage by the Wall Street Journal, to investigate it at all. Is Loretta Lynch corrupt?
Well, I don't think we really know. I know that the meeting between former President Clinton and the Attorney General on the tarmac on a private aircraft that would have been a clandestine meeting, but for some industrious local television reporter who saw that it happen this summer was deeply troubling to millions of Americans. But
you haven't decided whether you think she's corrupt or not?
No, I don't think we have the facts. And at the end of the day,
it's not enough that she doesn't want to investigate the Clinton Foundation. It's not enough.
Well, Bill, I don't want to presume on what her opinions are on that or not. I've seen press reports and suggestions, but at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton's on the ballot. Donald Trump's on the ballot. The American people in Donald Trump have a choice in a candidate who's got an ethics reform proposal. We're going to move in the first 100 days that's going to drain the swamp. We're going to have government as good as our people. We're going to pass fundamental ethics reform in our nation's capital and change the direction of Washington, D.C.
Okay. You're down by 11, as I mentioned, in this Franklin Marshall poll in Pennsylvania. You need Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, one of those two, to pick off to win the electoral vote. We just analyzed it earlier on the factor. 11, that's a big number being down in Pennsylvania right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, the only poll that matters is the one that's going to be finished on Election Day, and people are going to go to vote here in Pennsylvania on November the 8th. And I just have to tell you, campaigning with Donald Trump here in the Keystone State, he's in Wisconsin tonight. Bill, really and truly, the enthusiasm that we see from not just Republicans, but independents and many Democrats around the country is like nothing I've seen in my lifetime since the days of Ronald Reagan. The American people know we can be stronger, we can be more prosperous, but we've got to have new leadership, and that happens the day Donald Trump becomes president.
There's no question the enthusiasm level from the folks attending the rallies is much higher on your ticket than it is on the Democratic ticket. We appreciate your time, Governor. We know you're running around like crazy. It's very nice of you. I hope we can talk again before the vote. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Gutfeld McGurk on deck. We asked the boys to pick out 2 vital campaign topics going on this week. Then the factor tip of the day, ratings and the presidential campaign. Right back with us. All right, what the heck just happened? We asked Gutfeld McGurk to select 2 topics they believe are very important in the presidential campaign this week. And here they are. Gutfeld, topic number 1.
I caught a delightful interview Samantha Bee did with President Obama. She's a lovely, talented person. I thought that might be fun to look at.
Who is Miss Bee now for the audience who doesn't know?
She came from The Daily Show, and she has her own weekly show now.
On Comedy Central?
I think so,
but
I'm not sure.
Quite sure. Okay.
I don't watch TV, you know that.
On TBS.
Yes, TBS.
Miss Bee is on TBS.
There you go.
Here's a portion of that interview. Go. If you like that. Now, why did you like that?
He's out of his gourd. Get it? Pumpkin?
Yes.
Thank you, America.
Fantastic.
Look, President Obama is like a superhero. He's a psychic feminist. He can actually foretell that people will be sexist in the future.
Yeah. He's splitting. He's leaving the country. He's going to Canada.
They have methamphetamine up there in Canada?
Well, they have it up there, and free health care, and maybe it's a place where he has fond memories of
so Brian
from
Cranston,
the Vietnam War.
He doesn't, he's a liberal guy. He's going to move to Canada. So what?
Well, yeah, ironically, he's one of the guys who did more to highlight the problem of drugs coming in from Mexico. But here's the thing. I mean, Hillary Clinton's running around. Trump's making a mockery of democracy.
Yeah.
He won't accept the results. Well, these people are similar. A lot of these people, you have a list of people, Lena Dunham, Miley Cyrus, Amy Schumer, Al Sharpton.
They're all going to go
They're all going to go to Canada. But here's where
Sharpton's going to Canada. Did he say he's going to Canada, Sharpton?
He's leaving. Most of them say they're going to Canada. Some say Australia.
Right.
But none of them are going to Mexico.
We have
racists.
We have Mr. Cranston saying this. Go.
If come the election, Brian, if he does win, do you fancy an extended vacation to Vancouver?
It wouldn't be a vacation. I'd be an expatriate.
Come and join
absolutely.
me.
I would definitely move. It's not real to me that would happen. I hope to God it won't.
There's a lot of drugs in Vancouver. You might be happy there. Your second one.
Anthony Weiner, obviously implicated in the email scandal. Donald Trump, to his great delight, has been commenting on it. I think we have tape, don't we?
Do we? I don't even know if we have tape on that.
Sir.
Do we?
Yes.
No,
absolutely.
We don't have tape on that.
Well, now that makes me look really stupid, producers, because
just
you told me there was going to be
Tell
tape.
me what you were impressed with Trump commenting on Weiner.
I think he can't believe the joy that he has, because Weiner is the Forrest Gump of perversion. In every historical context, he shows up and he soils it. In the 1960s, Anthony Weiner would have been in an overcoat and nothing else, hiding behind a tree in a park.
It's low-hanging. It's low-hanging.
He is the bottom. I'd say he's the bottom of the barrel, but that would be insulting to barrels.
Your second thing caught your attention.
Donald Trump saying that if he did what Hillary did, which was accept questions pre-debate or pre-town hall meeting from one of his operatives, the head of the DNC, for example, that he would be in the electric chair. They would put him in the electric chair.
So he's saying because Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton a question, that if it had happened on the other side, Trump had got a question from, say, Omarosa.
That's right.
All right? That the press would have gone wild with it. But this got a lot of publicity, though.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did.
I didn't see anything on the front page of the Washington Post, New York Times. CNN didn't have the panel of 9 pro-Hillary people and 1 pro-Trump.
CNN guy said today that he was not going to stand for this again.
You know what? They're complicit, too, by the way.
CNN, you think so?
Yes,
Yeah?
I absolutely
You think they knew that it was
I
happening?
think they got it from somebody at CNN. It happened on more than one occasion. First time they blamed that guy, Roland Martin.
Yeah.
The second time, there's nobody to blame. It was just her and the CNN people. And by the way, I don't think they'd give him the electric chair. I think they would crucify him because it's more drawn out and more painful.
All right, gentlemen, there they are. In fact, the tip today, the truth about the presidential campaign and cable TV news ratings. You want the truth? We got it. The tip, moments away. Back to tip today, cable TV news ratings and the presidential campaign. Some interesting stuff for you. First, tickets going fast for the Spin Stops Here Tour 2017, starring me, Miller, and Waters for the first time. We'll see everybody in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the BOK Center. Friday night, January 13th, coming up. Reading, Pennsylvania at the Santander Arena, Saturday, January 14th. And we'll go out to Omaha, Nebraska at the CenturyLink Arena, March 24th, Friday. And then travel on to the Tacoma Dome, Saturday, March 25th. Looking forward to that. Finally, theater at Westbury, Long Island, June 17th, right before Father's Day. Tickets going fast, will sell out. They make great Christmas and Hanukkah gifts. Check it all out on BillO'Reilly.com. You'll have a blast. Now the mail, Kenneth Silva, San Pedro, Honduras. It's San Pedro Sula, Honduras. I've been there. I live here in a third world country, and the U.S. is teaching us how to have a corrupt election. May God save America. Dr. Daniel Canusio, New York City. Bill, you're defending James Comey for the email revelation and criticizing Congressman Cummings for partisan flip-flopping. Does this mean that you no longer question Comey's integrity? He should have fought for a grand jury in the email case, Doctor. That's my major beef with Comey. Fred Mack, St. Louis. Bill, your comments about Comey are completely wrong. Even Judge Janine blasted him for action so close to the election. Kathy Marshall, Manassas, Virginia. When Donna Brazile went low, Hillary did not object. She willingly stole the debate question and has not apologized. Lorraine Kiewit, Altadena, California. I'm a graduate of DePaul University, and I'm stunned they have banned the Unborn Lives Matter poster on campus. I will no longer donate. George Starner, Cape Coral, Florida. O'Reilly, you were correct in stating that drug dealers are violent criminals, but neglected to remind viewers that President Obama does not feel that way. We've covered the president's big mistake extensively here, George. Don Brown, Pine Grove, Pennsylvania, just finished Killing the Rising Sun. My father was also in the Pacific and was on Okinawa. The most moving part of your book, Mr. O'Reilly, was the part about your father's involvement. That was not easy for me to write, Don, but I'm glad I did it. Thanks for reading the book. Geraldine Blackwell, North Aurora, Illinois. After reading Killing the Rising Sun, I now know why my father never talked about his experience in the Pacific. And finally tonight, the factor tip of the day. October was a huge ratings month for the Fox News Channel, thanks to Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Last night on Halloween, the 2 airings of the factor produced 6,300,000 viewers. Incredible audience. In the regular time slots for the entire month of October, FNC dominated with the top 6 rated programs in cable news. Factor number 1 for the 191st consecutive month, averaging almost 3,400,000 viewers at 8 Eastern Time. Second, Kelly. Third, Hannity. Then Brett Baer, the 5, and Hume, 6th. In the 25-54 demographic, the factor won easily. Hannity, 2nd. Again, the big numbers are due to the presidential campaign. Now, as always, there is misleading propaganda put out by some TV people who add in special events like post-debate analysis and political speeches during hours, and they add those to the viewer totals. That kind of viewer inflation is a one-off, not indicative of daily success. Truth is, on a day-by-day basis, the factor continues to rule, and we here continue to thank you for making that possible. Factor tip of the day. And that is it for us tonight. Please check out the Fox News Factor website, different from BillO'Reilly.com. Also, we'd like you to spout off about the factor from anywhere in the world. O'Reilly at FoxNews.com. O'Reilly at FoxNews.com. Name it down if you wish to opine. Word of the day, do not be specious. And that pertains to the tip of the day when writing to the factor. Now, for you BillO'Reilly.com premium members, there's an extra special no-spin news posted for you. Check that out on the campaign. Again, thanks for watching us tonight. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Please always remember that the spin stops here, because we are definitely looking out.